All right, today we're going to go over Pythagorean theorem. I know we've used it in the past, but there are some strategies and some properties with certain triangles that we do need to go over. So just a quick review of Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A and b are your legs, and c is the hypotenuse. It's always the hypotenuse. Okay, so the hypotenuse is the side that is opposite of the 90-degree angle. We use Pythagorean theorem for right triangles only. So it has to have a right angle. I'm going to have you pause the video and do the next three examples, but before you do that, on example 2, I have a typo. It's supposed to be 4x, not just x. So go ahead and pause the video and try the first three examples. All right, now that you've tried the first three examples, we'll go through them. 7 is A, 24 is B. Now, 7 could have been B and 24 could have been A. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the C is the hypotenuse because it's opposite of the 90-degree angle. So if I do my A squared plus my B squared equals my C squared, that's the equation I'm setting up. I simplify the one side. And to solve for x, I need to square root. Now normally we put a plus or minus in front of our square root, but x represents the whole length, so it has to be positive. So on example 1, x equals 25. On example 2, I will do the same thing. I'll make my legs A and B, and my hypotenuse, which is opposite of the 90-degree angle, has to be C. I'm going to set up my Pythagorean theorem, which is 9 squared plus 4x squared. Now, when I write 4x squared, I need to put it in parentheses, because I'm not just squaring the x, I'm also squaring the 4. So the parentheses are there to remind me that I have to distribute the square to both the coefficient and the variable. So I will square everything. And I will start solving by subtracting 81 from both sides, dividing 16, and square rooting both sides to get x alone. Again, I don't need to worry about the plus or minus because, oh, no, I do have to worry about the plus or minus because x isn't alone, it is a 4x. So x equals plus or minus 3. I do need to check that both of those work, so I put it back in the 4x. And I'm checking to see if I get a positive answer out. So when I put positive 3 in, I'm good. But when I put negative 3 in, I get negative 12. So negative 3 is an extraneous solution, so we just need x equals 3. All right, and then the last example is a word problem. If a 10-foot ladder is 6 feet away from the base of the house, how far up the house can you get? So if I draw my house, I have a ladder leaning up, and it said that the ladder was 10 feet long, so the 10 goes there. The house is 90 degrees with the ground. We talked about that last week, or earlier this week when we did our shadow problems. And it's 6 feet away from the house, so between the house and the base of the ladder is 6 feet. And I'm trying to find the height of the house, or the height that the ladder hits the house. So this is my A, B, and C. I set up Pythagorean theorem since I have a right triangle. 36 to the other side. And I square root both sides. Again, this is going to be positive because I'm talking about height. So I get 8. And it's 8 feet. This is a word problem. Make sure you put your units on it or else you'll lose half of a point. So now let's talk about Pythagorean theorem and certain properties with triangles. So with isosceles triangle, in an isosceles triangle, the altitude is the same as the median. The equal legs and the base angles force the altitude to go through the midpoint, making it the median as well. Okay. Another triangle that this happens in is equilateral. Again, all the sides of an equilateral triangle are equal, all the angles are equal, forcing the altitude to go through the midpoint of the base of the triangle. So if I'm given that BC is the altitude, and my triangle is an isosceles triangle, I know that AC and CD are going to be equal or congruent because C also has to be the midpoint. Go ahead and pause the video, flip your notes over, and try example 4, and then I'll go over it. All right, now that you've tried example 4, let's go through it. It just wants me to find the value of h, but if I look at my diagram, I see that the legs are equal. They're both 51 meters, making this an isosceles triangle. So that the altitude is the same as the median. Because I know the altitude is the same as the median, the base is getting split in half. And if the whole is 48, each half is 24. Now I'm just going to look at one right triangle at a time. I'm going to make this my A, my B, and my C. So my Pythagorean theorem setup is going to be h squared plus 24 squared equals 51 squared. I'm going to square everything. Subtract 576 to the other side. And to get h alone, I'm going to square root. And since h represents the whole height, I don't need to worry about the plus or minus. So I get 45 meters as the height.